in this tutorial, I'll train you on variables in Java. So in our previous tutorial, we discussed on syntaxes and comments. So in this tutorial, I'll train you on the following. Now you'll have now the variables. We'll define what is a variable. You learn that a variable is a data container that saves data values during Java program execution. Every variable is assigned a data type that shows the quantity and type of value it can hold. Right? Now, we'll discuss various types of variables or then data types that are assigned to the variables names. So, we'll have to discuss string. We'll discuss now the int. We'll discuss the char. Then we'll discuss plot. Then boolean. All right. Now, rules followed. We'll discuss also the rules that are followed when you're naming your variable names. We'll discuss several of them. Then the other thing, we'll discuss also how to declare a variable. We'll discuss how to declare a variable. We'll discuss the use of final keyword. Then we'll also discuss how to combine variables. Then finally, we'll discuss what are identifiers. You'll find that all the variable names are identifiers. So kindly subscribe to my channel and let's start on our today's tutorial. So you can go to our NetBeans. So I've already opened my NetBeans. So this is where we will all combine our codes. Now, first of all, you need to create a new project. We'll create a new project. Then you can just name it. Let's call it Java. Let's call it Java. Okay, it has old name, the one name. So let's call it Java variables. Let's call it Java variables. This is variables. All right. After that, you'll design your keyword, your group ID. You can name any name you want here. You can just name it my company. Now that's all. So then you click on finish. All right. So after that, you'll find that the Java variables project is created here. All right. Now you you click on the plus sign here. You click on the plus sign. Then here on the source packages, you'll find we have created one package for my company. So this, so now on the source package, you right click on source package. Then you'll create new Java class. All right. Then you can call it. Let's call it main. Right. Then here you'll choose your package which you have created here. So then you click on finish. All right. Now you'll find that these basic tags for Java program are created. So these are just comments. You can just delete them. Then the other one here, you can just delete them. Right. Now in between here, you have your public class, which is main. Then in between there is where you write your code, where your main Java program is held. Now you'll have to write. Now this is public static void main. Then you click tab. All right. So you write pcvm. Then you click tab. It will generate public static void main. Then you'll have s out. Now this is s out system. Then you click tab. Right. This is or you can just type it. So those are shortcuts. Those are shortcuts. You can just type. This is print line. So this is untaught. This is untaught. Then here you have now. You have. Let's see whether our codes are working. So you will have now to print out hello world. We want to test whether our codes or program is working. There you will have a semicolon there, right? After that, you remember to save your work. Remember to save your work. So you click here to save your work, right? After that, you can click on this green icon to run your program. Click there, then initializing. You find that this is, you select many class. All right, then it will take some time. Now finally you'll print out hello world is printed out, and build success. So it means that our code or our program is right. Now let's get to our today's tutorial now, whereby we have said that a variable is a data coordinate that saves data types during Java program execution. Then you have said that it is allocated different types of data types, which is string, which is we have int, char, float, and boolean. So string is just used to store text surrounded by double quotes. We may have a name of a person, Philo. We can have something, your hobby, coding, you can have, so these they are surrounded by double quotes. You see, now they are surrounded by double quotes, so they are used to store text. Now then we'll also discuss this one, just integers. We These are just used to store integers. Int is just used to store numbers like 23. This is just a number. 1,000, this is 580. This is just a number. We'll have also char, which is used to store a single character surrounded by a single quote. You may have k, which is surrounded by a single quote. This one. So this is what you call by char. All right. Then we'll have floats. It's used to store numbers with decimal points. It's used to store numbers with decimal points. We may have 45.8, 29.5, 5.5. So these are just float numbers, right? Then we'll also have boolean, which is used to store two boolean values, which are just false or true. So these are just false or true. They're just used when you're making decision. When your condition is true, then true will be printed out. When it's false, then false is printed out. We'll see an example. Now, let's go direct to the rules that are followed. Before we start working on variables, you need to know that there are some of the rules that are followed when you're writing your variable names. Right. Now, these variable names, you should not use preserved keyword as variable names. Like we have discussed above, these are some of the preserved keywords, right, that are in Java. We have int, string, jar, final. So this one, you should not use any of these as a variable name. What are we saying? We are saying this. So let's say here, in between here, you're writing your string. Then you can say final. Okay, let's say string, right? Yeah, let's say string. This is an data type now. Data type string final, which is equal to, me laugh now, what this is you see, now it says a lingo start of type. All right, now you can't use just this one as a variable names. You can't use this one as a variable names, but you can change this one to something like name, right? You see now is okay. You see now it's okay. That's all what we're talking about. That preserved keywords in Java should not be used as variable names. Now the other thing you should know that variables names are case sensitive. They are case sensitive. Name in uppercase and the name in lowercase are two different variables. Then you should know that the other rules that is followed variable names should start with a small letter, each full name. Then you'll have now a uppercase in between there, right? That is connected full name, right? So they should start with a small letter. Now the other rule is that variable names can only contain numbers 0 to 9, A to Z, and underscore or a dollar sign. Each name, this is a variable name, a common term. Then this is what? A dollar. You can use this one. It's a variable name. So what are we talking about here? Now we'll see as we will discuss in how to declare variables. Now the other rule and the final rule that variable names cannot start with a number. Cannot start with a number. Like 9 name is just a wrong variable name, but can always start with a dollar sign, underscore, or just a letter. Like this one. This is correct. This is also correct because it has started with a dollar sign, and also this one is correct. They are correct variable names. Now, this is a major part that will be focusing today, how to declare variable names. How to declare variables names. To declare a variable name, you write the type. Right, let's complete this. You write the type, then you'll write the variable name, then this is variable name, this is variable name, then you'll also have value, right? You'll also have value, then you'll have a. So this type is just any data type as we have discussed below, either a string, an int, char, float, or boolean, right? Then the variable names, these are the names these are the test name as you have specified them as according to your specifications, but you should follow these rules when you write in your variable names. Okay, so now you should follow these rules as you are writing your variable names. Then the value is the value assigned according to the data type that you've used. If it's a string, then you give it a text. If it is a float, then you give it the number with a decimal point. If it is an int, you give it as a number with just a normal number or an integer, what we're calling an integer. Okay, this value, this equal sign is just used for assigning a value to this variable name, right? Now let's see by the example. Now we'll have now here whereby we'll have, let's call it, so this is just, we are given an example here, string name, then philo. So to print out philo on your screen, now you should call out name, right? You should call out name. Now in between here your brackets, you'll have to write name, right? Then you click save, then run your program. It will take some time. Now finally philo is printed out and it says build success. Now we can have, so this is what we are talking about, that this is the type, this is now the variable name, you have given its name, this is now the value that is assigned to this. Now you can have another type. You can have int, which is eng, right? You can call it eng, then you can give it a name, which is, you can give it, let's say 78, right? You can give it 78. So this is eng, so this is eng of a person, which is 78. Now this is a type, variable name, we have given it eng, then we have also given it a number, a value, which is 78. To print out on the screen, you write eng there, then you save your work. Remember to save your work, then you run your program, right? Finally 78 is printed out. Now we are saying that variable name cannot start with a number. Let's try using 9 there. You see, it underlines to put a red mark. It says that, you see, now this is what. So it means that this is wrong. Okay. So, but let's try to use a underscore before 9. You see, now it's true. It's correct. It's correct. It's correct. Now, if you try to use a underscore before 9, then it's true. We can also use in dollar sign. In dollar sign is also true. You can also use in dollar sign. You can also use in dollar sign, right, before 9. So it cannot start with a number. So the other thing, we were saying that they are case sensitive. Let's say here you enter 10 henge with capital letter, then here you print out what? Henge. See? Now it underlines because cannot find symbol or variable henge. Cannot find, right? Cannot be found. So we are saying that they are case sensitive. So if you are writing your variable names, please check on that. Right, this is henge. So this is correct. This is correct. Right? Now, the other rule that we've discussed is that you can't, so we said that you can't use the preserved keyword, they are case sensitive, you cannot start with a number, and then the other thing we have said is that the other rule should start with a full name. It should start with a small letter. So can start with a small letter. So you can just use various types. There are various types of naming your variable names, right? Now, hope you understand on how you can declare your variables in Java program, right? Now, the other thing we'll be discussing is that use of final keyword. Now, before we discuss on use of final keyword, you can as well, you can as well declare a name, then call it later. All right, or what you say that you can as well declare a variable, then assign value later. All right, let's say a string name. Okay, let's call it string name. Okay, then we can say name, you assign it to something like, all right, then you use this is also a column there. Now this is what you're talking about. You can declare a variable name, then you assign it value later in your program, right? Then here you'll print out your name. If you run your program, let's say if you work, then you run your program, it should print out. Finally, Philo is printed out and built. That's all we're talking about, that you can declare a variable and assign it value later, right? Now, the other thing we will be discussing is your final keyword, the use of final keyword. Sometimes you find that you may when you assign a value later, it overrides the first value, all right? Or when the value assigned when you are declaring your variable, all right? Then to avoid that, you use a final keyword. Let's have an example of where a variable is. Let's say this is variable name, then this is call it what? This is what? Let's call it John. Let's call it John. Let's call it John. Then the other one here, name Let's call it country, right? Let's call it country, right? This is country. Now we have a variable name, this string name, this is John, and the other name we have seen that we've said that when you run your program, this one should be printed out, right? But when you assign your final or you assign your value later, entry, it overrides this one, and the entry is printed out instead of John. Is printed out instead of John. Let's run our program and see. So first save, then you run your program. It will take some time. File entry is printed out and build success. You see why? Because this one has overwritten. Now we can write a command here. Entry or entry. This is entry, right? Entry overwrite John, right? And it is printed out instead of John, right? Now to avoid all this, we use a final keyword to this value, right? Before you write a string name, now you'll use now a final. Use now final, whereby you write final. Final keyword is used here, right? You see, and it says even before we cannot assign a value to a final variable name. It says that cannot assign a value to a final variable name. Alright, so it will bring an error and it says that cannot run or cannot what? Cannot assign a value to a final variable. So final variable is just used to avoid all errors that are brought up by overwriting variables, overwriting each other, right? Now, so in this case, John is printed out, right? John is printed out. Let's run. Okay, sorry for this. See now, it brings an error. Error message on your console. So it brings an error here. Now, because it says that it cannot assign value to a final variable, right? Now, the other thing we'll be discussing today is how to combine variables. How can you combine variables? Now, variables can be combined by use of plus sign. They can be combined by use of plus sign, right? Now, let's this is this, and we'll have now the string country. This is country now, right? This is country. Then we can assign it to Kenya. Then in between here you can say that I live in, then after this you'll have a plus sign, then country, print out country, right? See, I live in, so it should print I live in Kenya, right? Now this plus sign is used to combine a variable with just a sentence or just a string, another string here. So you use a plus sign. Now you save your work, then you run your program. Finally, it says build success and it prints out I live in Kenya. You see? Now this is I live, then country is Kenya, right? Now you have assigned, so you can use, so a plus sign is used to combine variables with another strings. Now in Java, plus sign can also serve as a mathematical operator, right? Let's say you have int, this is int x, then you can assign it to something like 400, this is 400, then you'll also int y, then this is what, 300, right? Now here in between here, to print out, you'll say that x plus y, now here, now the plus sign is serving as a mathematical operator where it adds 400 to 300, right? Now if you try to save your work, then you run your program, you see that finally 700 is printed out because it adds 400 to 300. So here now the plus sign is serving as a mathematical operator, right? Now the other thing, you can combine two variables. Let's say you have what? You have string. This is first name. You can have string first name. You can call it John. This is semicolon here. Then you can also have string. You should show what? Last name, which is what? Now this is Philo. So to print out, it's a semicolon here. Use a semicolon there. To print out now, you can say that first name plus last name. Then, so in this case, you're adding or you're combining two different variables where you have a first name, then a last name. This is John and Philo. So it should print out John Philo, right? So you remember to save your work, then you run your program. You see, it print out John Philo, right? But you can see there is no space here. To use a space, you need to have double quotes, then this is double quotes, then you have a plus sign, right? Now this double quotes, you'll have a space there. Now you'll use now first name plus sign, then in between here you'll have now what? A space with inside the double quotes, then you'll have a plus sign with this last name. Alright, so if your work run, see difference. See, now there is difference. You have John and you have Philo. So this is the first name, last name, right? Now that's all about how to combine variables. Now the other thing we'll be discussing, what are identifiers. You said that an identifier refers to a unique name that are used to identify variables. They include letters. You can use letters as you are discussing int or float. You can use letters. You can use names such as age, car, fruit. So any unique name that are all what you call identifiers. So like in this case here, this first name, last name, these are just identifiers, right? These are what we call identifiers. Now guys, we have come to the end of our tutorial today. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Remember to subscribe to my channel for more amazing content in future. So can visit our website www.latechflow.com and read more of our courses. Thank you guys for watching. Give it a like thumb and a comment.